Hello everyone, and welcome to my Young and the Restless official 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Hostages Claire, Noah, and Newman taken together in Los Angeles? Two Newman prisoners may lead to a great deal of drama. Will Noah Newman and Claire Newman share a Los Angeles prison? Sharon Newman and Nick Newman, who are about to get embroiled in a horrific situation involving Noah, must be traveling to Los Angeles at the same time as Claire and Holden Novak. The show is obviously getting up for a larger plot that will involve multiple character groups. Given her propensity for rash decisions and taking risks, Claire might be tempted to join the looming danger. After leaving the safety of her previous relationship with Kyle Abbott, Claire is getting ready to try something new and daring with Holden. But according to Audra Charles's previous comments, Holden was the kind of guy who lived on the edge. Holden once surprised her, but he also saved her from a difficult circumstance involving some illegal behavior, Audra said. Claire enjoys Holden's attention and his charm, but she hasn't yet found out more about him. Holden's history may be connected to the next Dangerous Noah drama, which will also feature Detective Burrow, Roger Howarth's character, and Sienna Bacall. Instead of relying solely on Nick to watch Claire while they are in LA, Victoria Newman will decide to go there herself. The fact that YNR is involving Claire's mother in this is just additional evidence that she will be in danger. If Claire and Noah are eventually kidnapped, Victoria may become extremely anxious. Will this become a double Newman hostage scenario? Will Claire and Noah be held captive together as part of the insane conspiracy that is about to start? Kyle may eventually find out about Claire's abduction and blame Holden for enabling it to happen. Lauren places Nikki in a challenging circumstance as Claire tells Kyle about her choices. Furthermore, Michael struggles to stop his old habits. Will he discover the secret to success? Claire informs Kyle about herself and her choices when they are in the park. In the meantime, Lauren places Nikki in a challenging circumstance. What was her behavior? Kyle and Claire are in Chancellor Park following their split. Kyle is likely afraid of getting the answers he desires. It's time for Kyle to help Claire now that she has realized she needs to prioritize herself. She ended their relationship for that reason. That is why she is traveling to Los Angeles. Holden, a friend of hers, will show her around. Claire now conducts her life as she pleases. Will Kyle be able to handle that? Claire doesn't look happy in this photo. She might be wondering if it was the right decision to break up with Kyle. Maybe she's considering having second thoughts. Or maybe she's trying to figure out how many swimsuits she should pack for Los Angeles. According to the daily YNR teasers, Michael finds it difficult to stop his previous habits. Are we talking about more recent past actions, such as showing greater concern for Victor than for others? Or are we talking about antiquated practices like going incredibly dark to achieve his goals? Michael seems to have that fire in his eyes. He thinks it is possible to save Genoa City. Will he be able to maintain his marriage, however, if the final secret he has kept from his wife is revealed? Finally, because of Lauren, Nikki finds herself in a challenging circumstance. Michael has a direct connection to all of this. The weekly video teaser for YNR really features a distraught Lauren saying, "I really love Michael," to her friend Nikki. "I really don't know if I can take it any longer." How will it be challenging for Nikki to meet Lauren's expectations? Following a brutal altercation between Kyle and Claire, Tessa's confession brings Sharon to tears. All of the products and services that are highlighted were chosen by the editors themselves. Soaps.com may receive a commission for orders placed through its retail relationships, and the retailer may receive auditable data for their records. Claire goes to her grandmother to ask for a leave of absence so she can go to Los Angeles after spotting Victoria and Nikki at Society. Despite their presumption to the contrary, Claire informs them that she is not leaving with Kyle. All of the products and services that are highlighted were chosen by the editors themselves. Soaps.com may receive a commission for orders placed through its retail relationships, and the retailer may receive auditable data for their records. Claire goes to her grandmother to ask for a leave of absence so she can go to Los Angeles after spotting Victoria and Nikki at Society. Despite their presumption to the contrary, Claire informs them that she is not leaving with Kyle. At the park, an irritated Sally makes a video chat to Jill, who is surprised to see her and not Billy. Sally admits that she has fallen in love with Billy and that they are having a lot of issues after going into her boyfriend's video account. They talk about the failed launch of Abbott Communications, and Sally explains that Billy's trip was cut short by his mother's betrayal. The only person who can help him with his problems is Jill. Sally explains that Billy has become fixated on regaining Chancellor's favor and proving something to his mother. He was prepared to risk everything, potentially even breaking the law, for the opportunity to regain control of the company. Jill doesn't know what to do. Sally has an idea. Jill is told by the redhead that Abbott Communications has not received any financing. Assuming she is thinking of sponsoring it, Jill asks Billy if he is aware of this. He doesn't know that Sally is looking for an investment, he says. This is her future, Billy will be her second in command. Jill thinks she's providing her an opportunity to get to know Billy. All Sally is doing is offering her a business concept. Jill tells her that they can discuss it when she is in Genoa City for a few days. Suddenly, she can see why Billy is attracted to Sally. Final scenes. Tessa informs Daniel that her mother-in-law is worried that her plan won't work out. Daniel joins Tessa and Sharon. Daniel admits that he worries a little too. They might find something terrible, or at least Mariah might be angry. Tessa will find the truth no matter what. Tess. At Society, Victoria and Nikki talk about Claire's decision. Nikki is concerned about Holden's connection with Kane and his past with Audra Charles, but they both agree that she should travel more. They decide to push Nick to visit Claire in Los Angeles to check on her, which is not a popular choice. Claire comes across Kyle in the park. He turns hostile when he finds out that his mother is relocating to Los Angeles. He asks if she truly wants to leave him and suggests that she is running away. Claire reminds him that this is not about him, but about her. Holden is also implicated, according to Kyle. His resentment grows, and he accuses Claire of leaving him and spending more time with Holden Novak because she has to discover who she is. The chaos that is about to unfold in Los Angeles begins with whispers of trouble, whispers that grow into storms the moment Claire Newman makes the bold, perhaps reckless decision to chase freedom and adventure by leaving behind the security of her life with Kyle Abbott, only to put herself directly in the path of danger that Holden Novak's past inevitably brings. Because Holden is not simply a charming man with an edge, he is a man with shadows at his back, shadows that were hinted at by Audra Charles when she once recalled the way he swept her into situations that left her rattled yet intrigued, and though Claire wants to believe that this trip to LA is about seeing more of the world, about finally defining herself as something more than just Kyle's ex-girlfriend or Victoria Newman's daughter, the reality is that danger clings to Holden like smoke, and it is only a matter of time before Claire is caught in a web she never expected, especially now that Noah Newman is also drawn into this tangled mess, his trip to LA seemingly innocent at first but quickly spiraling into chaos when Sharon Newman and Nick Newman realize that their son is at risk of becoming collateral damage in someone else's dangerous game, a game that seems to involve Sienna Bacall's schemes, Detective Burrow's suspicions, and Roger Howarth's mysterious new character whose alliances remain murky at best, and with so many moving pieces converging in the City of Angels, the show seems determined to orchestrate an explosive hostage storyline that will not only shake Claire and Noah to their cores but also send shockwaves through every branch of the Newman family tree, because as Victoria races to LA determined to keep her daughter safe, and as Nick insists on monitoring the situation with the protective instincts that only a Newman man can display, the threat of Claire and Noah being abducted together begins to feel less like speculation and more like an inevitable nightmare, the kind of nightmare that forces everyone in Genoa City to reckon with their mistakes and their loyalties, for while Claire has chosen to distance herself from Kyle, that choice does not erase the lingering connection they share, a connection that will explode in bitterness and guilt once Kyle hears of Claire's potential kidnapping and channels his fury at Holden Novak, the man he never trusted and now has every reason to despise, while Claire herself wrestles with conflicting emotions as she sits beside Noah in captivity, torn between fear of what might happen to them and guilt over whether her impulsive decisions have dragged her cousin into harm's way. Because this isn't just a story about danger in Los Angeles, it's a story about how impulsive choices collide with dangerous pasts, how family ties are tested when lives hang in the balance, how Lauren Fenmore's plea to Nikki over Michael's spiraling behavior echoes the sense of desperation and entrapment that threads through the Newman family right now, and how Michael's inability to break destructive habits mirrors Holden's inability to escape his dark history, as if everyone is trapped in some way, bound by old choices, and those binds are tightening now more than ever, especially for Claire and Noah, who could find themselves locked away in some hidden LA location, forced to confront both their captors and themselves in ways that might forever change them, leaving Victoria frantic, Nikki conflicted, Nick protective, Sharon heartbroken, Kyle vengeful, and the larger canvas of Genoa City bracing for the fallout of a double Newman hostage crisis that threatens to rewrite not only the fates of these two young souls but also the trajectory of an entire family legacy. Because if the show is truly building toward an overarching plot that ties together Claire's need for self-discovery, Noah's vulnerability, Holden's dangerous allure, Sienna's schemes, Burroughs' investigation, and Victoria's maternal determination, then the stage is set for one of the most dramatic arcs in recent memory, an arc where trust will be shattered, loyalties tested, and lives forever altered by choices made in both innocence and recklessness, and where the answer to the haunting question, will Noah and Claire be imprisoned together in Los Angeles? May very well be the case, and if so, any Newman, Abbott, and ally caught in the ensuing storm will be affected. The moment whispers turn to shouts and danger becomes unavoidable, the Los Angeles streets morph into the backdrop for one of the most twisted Newman nightmares yet, because Claire Newman and Noah Newman are not simply tourists in the City of Angels but pawns in a larger scheme that has been simmering behind the curtain. A scheme that intertwines Sienna Bacall's ruthless ambition with the cryptic motives of Detective Burrough and the unpredictable energy of Roger Howarth's new character, a man whose connection to Holden Novak's checkered past might be the linchpin for the chaos to come, because Holden has always lived a little too close to the edge, and though Claire wanted to believe that his sense of adventure was nothing more than charm, she is now forced to consider that Holden's edge could cut her deeply, perhaps fatally, if she continues to ignore the warning signs Audra Charles once mentioned about him. Yet by the time Claire realizes just how much danger she has walked into, it is too late, because Noah, caught up in his own LA trip and distracted by the weight of responsibility he feels toward his parents' expectations, becomes ensnared alongside her, and suddenly, two Newmans are taken hostage together, a setup that feels deliberately orchestrated to send shockwaves through their powerful family, forcing Victor Newman to once again reckon with the consequences of his enemies targeting his bloodline, even as Victoria rushes across the country determined to protect her daughter, a daughter she has only just begun to truly know and love after years of estrangement and lies. And that sense of urgency amplifies when Nikki confronts her own role in pushing Claire toward independence, for Nikki once encouraged her granddaughter to seize control of her life and make bold choices, yet now Nikki wonders if her advice has put Claire directly in harm's way, leaving her trapped in a city notorious for both glamour and crime, while Sharon, ever the emotional heart of the Newman orbit, spirals into tears and fears as she realizes that her son's life is once again teetering on the edge of tragedy, and Nick, balancing his protective instincts toward both Noah and Claire, vows to do whatever it takes to rescue them, even if it means clashing with Holden Novak directly, a man he doesn't trust and may soon blame for luring Claire into the danger that swallowed both her and Noah whole. Yet the tension doesn't stop with the Newmans, because Kyle Abbott, still raw from his breakup with Claire, seethes with jealousy and anger when he hears whispers of her potential abduction, immediately accusing Holden of being the reason Claire was placed in danger, the reason she may never return to Genoa City, and Kyle's desperation to prove himself right threatens to drag the Abbotts into the Newman crisis in ways no one saw coming. All while Michael Baldwin wrestles with his own demons, torn between the old dark instincts that once made him a man feared as much as respected and the fragile promise he has made to Lauren, who has already turned to Nikki in desperation, confessing that she is unsure she can endure the strain of Michael's secrets any longer. And this personal turmoil mirrors the larger hostage story unfolding in LA, for just as Michael struggles to keep his marriage intact, Claire and Noah are struggling to keep themselves alive in the clutches of captors who may be connected not only to Holden's past but also to Sienna's secret agenda, a revelation that could shatter more than one carefully constructed image. And as the days drag on and whispers of ransom demands emerge, Victor Newman positions himself as the ultimate protector, declaring war on whoever dared to target his grandchildren. Yet this war is not fought in Genoa City's boardrooms or ranch parlors but on the darkened edges of Los Angeles, where back-alley deals, law enforcement corruption, and unpredictable alliances twist reality into a maze that Nick and Victoria plunge into headfirst, ignoring the risks to themselves because their children's lives are worth any sacrifice. But inside captivity, Claire and Noah begin to unravel in different ways, Claire blaming herself for dragging Noah into danger, for choosing Holden over safety, for always leaping before she looks, while Noah, ever the quiet soul compared to his father, channels a rare strength, promising his cousin that they will survive, that the Newman bloodline has endured worse, and that if they work together, they can outwit their captors. But beneath his brave words, Noah hides fear of becoming collateral damage once again, fear that Sharon will be left broken if he doesn't make it out, fear that his family will always see him as fragile. And these layered emotions transform captivity into more than a plot device. It becomes a crucible where Claire and Noah confront not only the immediate danger but also the shadows of their identities, their family expectations, and the scars of their past mistakes. And while they cling to each other, the outside world boils with tension as Victoria clashes with Nick over strategy, Sharon clashes with Holden over responsibility, Nikki clashes with Lauren over trust, and Kyle clashes with anyone who will listen, insisting that Holden is guilty of dragging Claire into this nightmare, while Victor quietly pulls strings in the background, mobilizing resources far beyond what the Los Angeles police can provide, determined to prove once again that when you attack a Newman, you attack the most powerful family in Genoa City. But for all his influence, even Victor cannot control the unpredictable twists of fate, and as the days of captivity stretch longer, the possibility that Claire and Noah may not make it out alive grows heavier, pressing down on the entire Newman clan like a suffocating weight, forcing everyone to reconsider their priorities, their loyalties, and their willingness to fight for family no matter the cost, because this isn't just a hostage storyline, it's the ignition point for an explosive saga that ties together every lingering secret, every festering grudge, and every hidden alliance, and by the time it concludes, the Newmans will either be shattered or stronger than ever, but not without scars, not without betrayals, and not without at least one devastating loss that changes the landscape forever. As Claire Newman sat across from Noah Newman in that stuffy room, the reality of their situation hit them with bone-chilling weight. This wasn't some passing scare or an unintentional slip-up during their trip to Los Angeles. This was a planned, orchestrated, message-sending trap, and the only question was who the real mastermind behind it all might be. The walls of the dimly lit hideout seemed to close in tighter with each hour, and the air was stale and laced with the metallic smell of chains. Claire's heart raced as she attempted to calm her cousin, but deep down she was drowning in guilt for choosing Holden Novak as her travel companion to Los Angeles, guilt for pursuing freedom and adventure without thinking through the consequences, guilt for leaving Kyle Abbott and entering the kind of chaos that not only put her in danger but also put Noah's life in jeopardy. When Noah noticed the tremor in her hands, he reached out to steady her, whispering quietly and firmly that they needed to focus and that panicking would only strengthen their captors' hold on them. Although his words were intended to reassure, the flicker of fear in his eyes revealed that Noah was also terrified. Beyond those locked doors, Holden Novak's facade started to crumble when Nick Newman cornered him in the lobby of the LA hotel, his eyes burning with rage, demanding answers about Claire's disappearance and accusing him of dragging her into trouble he couldn't handle. Despite Holden's best efforts to defend himself and claim he had nothing to do with the kidnapping, Nick's suspicion that Holden's past was finally catching up with him at the worst possible time was stoked by Audra Charles's earlier warnings about his criminal ties. Sharon stood off to the side, crying uncontrollably as she reenacted every mistake that had ever left Noah vulnerable, whispering that she couldn't lose her son again. At the same time, Victoria Newman burst into the fray, her panic manifesting in sharp, clipped orders, desperate to find her daughter, clashing with both Nick and Holden. As the hours turned into days back in captivity, Claire and Noah's chats became increasingly candid. They first discussed escape strategies, such as observing the guards, keeping track of the time between visits, and testing the strength of their restraints. However, as fatigue and fear weakened them, the conversation shifted to more intimate topics, such as regrets and memories, as well as the burden of being Newmans in a world where enemies and power were intertwined. Noah acknowledged that he frequently felt overlooked in comparison to his siblings, as though his voice was softer and his presence smaller, but the danger they faced now was proof that his life mattered just as much.